The overall problems were we were experiencing a significant increase in vandalism and some other crimes that were starting to develop in a central park in our community. The park was really designed for a lot of community involvement, concerts in the park, movies in the park, playscape area. The attention to the park also brought a lot of the youth to come into the area, change the dynamics of the community. The youth really wasn't what it was 10 years ago, and so we started to see a lot of vandalism, some other types of crime that started to develop, sexual assaults, an attempted murder-suicide case. So what we wanted to do after trying some traditional methods, we tried to implement some, increased regular patrol activity, try to do the dedicated patrol or directed patrol, and those things weren't successful because they'd behave themselves when they saw us coming. So what we wanted to do was be able to implement a video solution that would allow us perhaps not to be able to stop a crime in progress, but be able to go back and identify who the perpetrators were. And normally when you identify and prosecute a perpetrator of a crime, it stops it from reoccurring. We looked at newer technology cameras, the IP cameras, or that's digital, and so we purchased 3 IP video cameras and placed them in areas that didn't give us full coverage of the park, but because of the quality of video that these cameras obtain, we could have pretty large coverage areas in the primary areas that we were having problems. Over the band shell that was being vandalized, over the parking lot where some of the crimes were occurring, over some of the play areas that the youth were utilizing. And these cameras are capable of capturing large areas on video, and then the software allows us to zoom in on the specific problem when it does occur, to where we can identify exactly what they were doing, and in many cases be able to get a quality picture that we could identify the perpetrator with. It certainly works pretty well when we have a picture and we can take it and show it to a few people in the community and say, do you know who this is? Word gets back to the person who perpetrated the crime, and they're calling us up sometimes before we even make contact with them, saying, okay, I was stupid, I did it, and yeah, that word gets around on stuff like that. Not only does that person not come back and commit the same type of crime in the community, but it does. I mean, we really tried to publicize the number of cases that we had where we actually caught people doing this, and the intent is get the word out there that don't come to Flushing, don't come to the park and start committing crimes, because we have it on video, and we'll be able to identify who you are, and you're going to have to pay a price for it. The IP camera system with the DVR, and we do this wireless transfer thing, which was a pretty significant added increase in cost to the whole system. The whole system only cost $8,300. And we had one vandalism case where the kids came in and they broke up some of the bleachers that overlook our band shell, and I think that to replace that cost over $8,300. So if we can prevent that kind of thing in the future, it'll have paid for itself relatively quick. These trail cams for a couple $100 for places that have smaller areas that needs to have a little bit of video surveillance. The quality of pictures that you get off of those for a real low investment is terrific, and you can. It's like having a police officer there 24 hours a day. It's always there. It always records what goes on, and we certainly don't have the staff to watch everything that happened, but when we do have an incident that happened, we can go through and we can skip through really quickly and find the incident that did happen, and at least in a smaller community like Flushing, it doesn't take long to put a name with the face of who you have on that video. And it's worked out really well for us. A significant increase in the number of crimes that we've solved using this technology. The Rural Law Enforcement Technology Institute has been a wonderful opportunity for me to come and share in this conference. Certainly has given me an insight into some of the resources that are available from the federal government for technology assistance that I wasn't aware was available before. In my current position, some of the things aren't really going to be extremely applicable. For example, a lot of the aviation issues. We just wouldn't be able to make use of that in a 4-square-mile community. But there are a lot of other things that I picked up on here. I'm drawing a blank on the name of them, the two-wheel Segways. The Segways are a product that I've thought about several times, and I hope to be able to actually see a hands-on example of those, and that's something that could be very useful in a community like ours. And seeing some of the other publications and resources that are available. It's difficult as a chief in a small city to stay on top of all of the technical issues that go on, and coming to a conference like this and learning, I'm not going to be able to walk away with all of the technical knowledge, but what I am walking away with is a good resource that when I have problems, I know where to turn to ask for some help, and know that I'm going to get good advice.